morning, children. Myself, Miss Purvi Datta. I will be taking your English grammar classes for this session. So let us directly go into our chapters. The very first chapter in your book is the sentence. So let us begin with the various elements of a sentence. Now, prior to going into the various elements of a sentence, I would want to introduce you to the basic structure of English sentence, that is known as syntax. The syntax of English language is SVO. Now I think most of you will be able to understand what these stand for. S stands for subject. V stands for verb. And O stands for object. Now, whatever sentence you form in this language of English, you will find these three basic elements present in that particular sentence. Let me give you some examples. I read books. I eat popcorn. I sing songs. So you can find that all the basic three elements, subject, verb, object, are present in any sentence constructed in the language of English. Now next, let us go into the definition of the various elements. What is a subject? How will you identify or denote a subject in a sentence? Subject is nothing but, in simple words, it is something about which or about whom something is spoken. Right? Say for example, if I say, Rahul drives his car. So here something is being said and that is being said about someone. So this is the something which is being said, drives his car. And it is being said about someone who is Rahul. So Rahul is the subject. And drives his car is the predicate. Now, I haven't yet come into the predicate part. So, predicate, as I have told you, is something which is being told about the subject. So, the subject may be an animate or an inanimate object. Okay, so over here, it's a living being that Rahul. So it could be something like an inanimate object also. Let's say the vase broke into pieces. The vase broke into pieces. Okay? So here something is being said about something but not someone. And which is that something? That something is the vase. So the subject is the vase. And what is being said about the vase? Broke into pieces. So this is the predicate. Now, another thing which we can understand over here is that I have introduced you initially to three terms or three elements, that is the subject, the verb and the object. Now we can see that verb and object are actually the part of predicate. So here we add verb and object are parts of predicate. I think you have got my point. So now we have come to know about 4 points or elements. What are they? Let me draw a chart and make it clear. The various elements which we have got introduced to are subject, predicate, and the two components of predicate are verb and object. The two components of predicate are verb and object. So basically, the structure or the three basic elements of a sentence are subject, verb and object, which again come under the component or the element, whatever you say, of predicate. Alright, so these are the basic structures, this is the basic structure of English sentence. So we have come to know about 4 elements or components, which are subject, verb, object, once again verb and object are parts of predicate. I hope I have been able to make this concept clear. So now let us practice some sentences so that we can slowly and gradually understand variations also. Now we will, let me tell you, now we will come into the various kinds of sentences. And as I come into the various kinds of sentences, you will be able to understand that not always all these 4 components or elements are present in a sentence. Right? Okay. So, let us say, for example, close the door. be able to see or observe in these sentences is that none of these sentences have a subject, but still they are sentences. So as I have told you, the subject is a basic element of a sentence. Previously I have explained and I have introduced you to the structure of English sentence, SVO. So by that rule or by that law, English sentence must have a subject. But here we see that you can construct an English sentence without a subject. Right? So in these particular cases, when you get to identify or when you are asked to identify the subject in these types of sentences, then the subject will always be, in general, you. It is you close the door, or you please accept my friend's request, or you don't waste money. But this is not the way we say or we write in generally.